thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. It's been a long, almost 2 weeks now, since pretty much the whole province of Ontario decided to shut down because of the COVID-19 situation. Ontario has been, for the most part, taking the social distancing very seriously, so that's been great in helping to slow down the spread. But what that means for a lot of barns is that there's no riding, no lessons, nothing. I know some barns are open still and are letting people come ride. A lot of them aren't though, so I don't know, let me know if you guys are still able to go to the barn. If you're not, how are your barns handling the whole situation? I'd just be really interested to hear kind of how the situation's being handled by different people. So I thought it would just be really fun to kind of do a Q&A about me, the ponies, whatever. I did get a DM on Instagram requesting this video, so figured why not? I've got lots of time. So yeah, so I'm really excited to be making this video completely unrelated to COVID-19. So I got a couple questions on Instagram, so I'm gonna go through those. I put a story and then I also put a post, so these questions are from both of those. So I have, how did you find the cutest ponies? Totally agree, first of all, absolutely the cutest. Finn I actually found on Facebook. I was 15 and I was looking on just kind of, you know, horse selling websites like Horse Clicks, Equine Now, and Horsetopia. I think were the big three that I was looking through. But I also looked on Facebook. It was before they had Marketplace, so it was just like buy and sell group. And I found a post for Finn. She looked really good. She was actually like 6 hours from where I live, so it was a bit of a drive to go and try her. So I tried her, and then the next time I drove up, bought her. So that's how I got Finn and how I found her. Pippin actually was sent to me, his ad was sent to me by my good friend Linnea. She found his ad. We were looking for a horse for my little sister, and she found him online. He looked really good. Again, he was really far away, but we drove down, tried him the next time we picked him up. He ended up being a little bit greener than we thought initially, but you live and you learn. Other than that, I think that's it for that question. So when did you start riding? I started riding when I was 10. I started with summer camps and did that for a year or two, and then I bugged my mom enough for lessons. She put me in them and said, you know, if you stick this out through a Canadian winter, I'll know you're serious about this and you really enjoy it. And I did. Here we are. I have talk about Finn's racetrack thing. Yeah, so Finn is an off-the-track thoroughbred. She raced for 2 years as a 3 and 4-year-old. She raced at Fort Erie and Woodbine. I think she had a total of 10 starts. I know Fort Erie used to have archives of old racing videos, which was really cool, so I found out all the information from her races and looked it up, and I got to watch her. She was never very good. The best she did was a place, which is second place, and she got that once. She got a third, and then I think it was just kind of not great. Other than that, I did get in contact with her owner from on the track, and it was really cool. He sent me all of her jockey club registration papers and talked to me a bit about her, and that was nice. But yeah, so she did that for 2 years. Yeah. I have, how is Pip? And this one comes from his old leaser. He's doing really good. He's been really well behaved lately, which is surprising going into spring because he usually gets a little like woohoo. But no, he's been awesome. I jumped him a bit this winter and everything, which has been good, and I'm trying to get him a little bit more consistent over fences. But yeah, he's good. He's snuggly. He's a lot more polite on the ground, which is fantastic. So the next one I have is plans for showing in the future. I would love to get back into showing. This year, definitely not in the cards for me. I am still in school. I have a year left of my degree. But I'm looking to hopefully get back into showing summer 2021, so next year. I would like to start fitting just right away at training level, but we'll kind of see where we're at. I would definitely like to get some coaching. I haven't had any coaching for a number of years now, since I was in high school. Just because, you know, with paying for school and then also trying to keep both horses and everything, like, it just wasn't really in the cards for me. Financially, it wasn't really in the cards for me, so yeah, we'll see. That's my goal, is for 2021. Finn's 14 now, so she'll be 15 next summer, so I think it'll be good. I don't know what we'll end up getting to. Before, when we used to show, it was at training level, so I'd like to at least successfully do training level again with her. If prelim is in the cards for her soundness wise, that would be great. I haven't had any issues come up with her that would lead me to think she wouldn't be sound for prelim. But of course, before I go into all that, I would probably have a vet look at her, just to see kind of what the wear and tear from the last few years has looked like. She hasn't really had a super heavy workload, or anything like that, but yeah, I would just like to play it safe with my babies, and I wouldn't want to ask her to do something that wasn't good for her to do. She really loves it though, so if she's game, I'm game. That's kind of where I'm at for showing plans. The next question that we have is tips for handling rider nerves. I'm assuming that this means at a show. So for me, what really helps calm me down is just knowing what I'm doing and where I'm going, because that kind of takes the pressure off. Like, it's one less thing to worry about. So for me, like, memorizing my course is a huge thing, obviously. And the more I can say it, the calmer I get. I don't know if that applies to everybody, but definitely works for me. So, you know, whoever I'm at the show with, I'll ask them every maybe 30 minutes, like, ask me my course, after I've walked it, of course. So, like, then I'll just tell them my course, and that helps me kind of calm down a lot. Other than that, in the actual warm-up ring, just not getting in your own head. You know, your horse might be acting differently because they're off property, they're at a show, there's a lot going on, but not treating it differently just because you're off property. You know, if your horse is misbehaving, correcting that, and like, or if they're doing really well, praising that. Like, you're still training your horse even though you're off property and you're not at home. And that, I think, for me, calms me down a lot, because it keeps me really in the moment, and then I stay out of my own head, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Other than that, if you're talking more about rider nerves, like after a fall or something, I think just making sure you have a really good coach, or somebody on the ground that can kind of help you work through it, keep things in perspective. Definitely riding with somebody can help build up your confidence a lot, you know, and if you get stuck or get a little worried, then you have someone on the ground that can either help talk you through it, you know, just act as that extra reassurance, something like that. But yeah, I think a big part of that is just having a really good coach for both, like at a show, or if you've lost some confidence. A really good coach can be really helpful, definitely, for helping with rider nerves. And then for the last question that I have is, why did you pick eventing? So I didn't actually pick eventing. When I started riding and I did summer camps, I picked the barn that was closest to my house. It was less than 10 minutes down the road. And I started summer camps there, and because that's what I knew and where I was comfortable, I just started lessons there. So I didn't know it at the time, but there were different types of riding you could do. Thought it was English or Western. So the barn that I did start out with was an eventing barn. So when I got to the point of, you know, jumping, doing logs and little railway ties in the field was all just kind of part of it. I didn't realize that not everybody does that. And then when I showed, I thought that was just like the same as any like schooling show, was like a small event where you do cross country. I thought it was all the same. So I didn't really pick it. It was only like a little bit later on when I realized, oh, like this is a different discipline than the rest. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, so I guess it was just because it was what I was exposed to. And then obviously once I did find out about different equestrian sports, that's when I picked it, because it was what I was used to, it was what I understood the rules for, and I just really love cross country. I know it's like Finn's favorite part of any show day is going out on cross country, and obviously I think it makes it a lot more enjoyable when your horse loves it too, so definitely, you know, wouldn't change sports or anything. But yeah, I think that's all the questions that I have. But yeah, so thanks to everybody that asked questions, really appreciated it. I've been very bored, like I said, with the whole social distancing thing, you know, and a lot of the barns being closed and everything. So it's been a long 2 weeks. But yeah, I'd love to hear what your barns are doing and how they are helping to flatten the curve, how different people are interpreting different rules. Like, I'd love to hear about it. Just something that interests me. And if you guys have any other suggestions for videos, I'd love to hear them. I'll definitely take them into consideration. I've got nothing but time. Yeah, and make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post pretty regularly. My Instagram is right here. But yeah, so please do subscribe and like this video, and let me know if you guys have any other ideas for things you'd like to see on this channel. I would love to hear them. Bye!